let's go ahead and talk about Icarus. And the first thing that I want to mention is that he was tested on the test server, which has a lot of input lag. On top of that, we use an average player stats, so you may get better results than we did. But I want to give a special thanks to Kawasa, to where you can find him over at Twitch, over at Kawasa Gaming, who does raids, FC, and Void Abyss 6 carries as long as you're on Solaris, and Kaz, my Claudia Matrices expert. These two are essential when it comes to testing these characters. And I also want to thank Ridley, greatest Discord moderator who helps keep me on track. Now let's talk about Icarus' main mechanics. Icarus makes the Frost team one of the most complicated and hardest teams to play. When you have Icarus and Saki together, you are constantly activating Saki's A1 skill. The reason for this lies in Icarus yo-yos. When you discharge with Icarus, you gain access to 2 uses of his sub-skill, which provide extra DPS and shatter. Also, if you cancel the discharge early, you still gain this sub-skill. So Icarus has his main skill and his 2 sub-skills that can be used in a rotation. What this means is that Icarus can provide 3 skill uses by himself in a rotation, which allows you to very easily activate Saki's skill resets, since all you need to do is use the weapon skills on your other 2 weapons. The most important part to know about Icarus is to always discharge with him. You really want these sub-skills to maximize your rotation's DPS and shatter. Icarus also places a constantly refreshing field on the enemy too, but even if the enemy is mobile, this field should refresh and stay on them as long as you keep up the pace with your skills. Now let's talk about his playstyle. Icarus is a DPS focused weapon that brings extra synergy to the Frost team. He encourages this synergy with weapons like Saki with his multiple skill use and provides large amounts of extra DPS and shatter for the Frost team as a whole. With Icarus, your Frost team speed will increase greatly due to the large amounts of skill resets you'll get with Saki. Now let's talk about his Ascensions. His 1 and 3 star improves his AoE capabilities while bringing extra DPS. His 1 star creates an interesting playstyle where you're constantly on low HP in order to take full advantage of his extra DPS. His 3 star increases his AoE capabilities as well as his DPS. His 5 and 6 star Ascensions are just simple DPS increases, but these are sizable increases if you have the budget. But Icarus functions perfectly fine at A0. The only benefit of his Ascensions give him extra DPS and AoE, so only go for these Ascensions if you want the strongest Frost team possible within your budget. Finally, let's talk about his trait. You get 15% final damage and 45% increased shatter as long as you're using Icarus. I don't recommend that you get this trait because the Frost team does not have an issue shattering, especially with Icarus, even without this trait. I recommend that you just use Alice's trait, which will give you 18% final damage every time you cast a skill, which you will do quite a lot in this team. Alright, now let's get to the fun part, the DPS calculations, and this is what we're working with. Close to 10k crit and almost 21,000 frost attack to simulate the average player stats. So the old comp consisted of Saki, Lin, and Alice, with Saki using a 3-star 4-piece Alice, Lin using a 3-star 4-piece Saki, and Alice using a 3-star 4-piece Lin. And in a minute and 30 seconds, they were able to reach 125 million. And this team used the Fenrir trait. Now let's talk about the Icarus comps. And there's 2 main comps, starting with the Lin comp, which consisted of Icarus, Lin, and Alice, with Icarus using no matrices, his 0-star 4-piece matrices, his 3-star 4-piece matrices, a 3-star 4-piece Lin, and DPS matrices consisting of 3-star 2-piece Lyra, 3-star 2-piece Samir. Lin used a 3-star 4-piece Saki, a 0-star 4-piece Icarus, and a 3-star 4-piece Icarus. And Alice used a 3-star 4-piece Alice. And they used the Alice trait, but an alternative trait could be Fenrir. So here are the results of the Lin comp in a minute and 30 seconds. 0-star Icarus with no matrices was able to pull out 57 million, using its 0-star 4-piece 67 million, and using Lin matrices 76 million, and using DPS matrices 72 million. 1-star Icarus using no matrices was able to reach 63 million, using his 0-star 4-piece 79 million, and using Lin matrices 87 million, and using DPS matrices 80 million. 3-star Icarus using no matrices was able to reach 66 million, using his 0-star 4-piece 81 million, and using Lin matrices 91 million, and using DPS matrices 85 million. 5-star Icarus using no matrices was able to reach 76 million, using his 0-star 4-piece 91 million, and using Lin matrices 114 million, and using DPS matrices 95 million. 6-star Icarus using no matrices is able to reach 81 million, using his 0-star 4-piece 103 million, using Lin matrices 123 million, and using DPS matrices 104 million. Using his 3-star 4-piece matrices, 127 million, and using Lin matrices, 139 million. We also tested Frigg in place of Alice. So 6-star Icarus using his 3-star 4-piece matrices was able to reach 62 million, using Lin matrices 71 million, and using DPS matrices 60 million. And here's what this comp was able to do using live stat values. 6-star Icarus using his 3-star 4-piece was able to reach 181 million, using Lin matrices 201 million, and using DPS matrices 173 million, and using no Icarus matrices at all 188 million. And this team was able to clear Heroic Rudolph in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. And here is the 30-second rotation. Next we have the Mono Frost team, which consisted of Icarus, Saki, and Alice, with Icarus using no matrices, his 0-star 4-piece matrices, his 3-star 4-piece matrices, and DPS matrices consisting of 3-star 2-piece Lyra, 3-star 2-piece Amir. Saki used a 3-star 4-piece Alice, and Alice used a 3-star 4-piece Saki, and they used the Alice trait. So 0-star Icarus using no matrices was able to reach 52 million, using his 0-star 4-piece 66 million, and using DPS matrices 69 million. 1-star Icarus using no matrices was able to reach 62 million, using a 0-star 4-piece 76 million, and using DPS matrices 80 million. 3-star Icarus using no matrices was able to reach 66 million, and using his 0-star 4-piece 84 million, and using DPS matrices 89 million. 5-star Icarus using no matrices was able to reach 76 million, and using his 0-star 4-piece 98 million, and using DPS matrices 103 million. 6-star Icarus using no matrices was able to reach 86 million, using his 0-star 4-piece 108 million, and using DPS matrices 113 million, and using his 3-star 4-piece matrices 119 million. We also tested to where we had Frigg replace Saki and Alice. So 6-star Icarus using Frigg and Saki was able to reach 70 million, and 6-star Icarus using Frigg and Alice was able to reach 118 million. And here's what this comp was able to do using live stat values. 6-star Icarus using his 3-star 4-piece matrices was able to reach 180 million, using DPS matrices 175 million. And this team was able to clear Heroic Rudolph in 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And here is the 30-second rotation. Now let's talk about our free-to-play / low spender teams. And due to the fact that we can't lower down star levels, all of these characters are 6-star, but we did use 0-star matrices to help compensate. And all of these teams use the Samir trait, and we use the average player stats. So starting with the Lin team, which consisted of Icarus, Lin, and Claudia, with Icarus using a 0-star 2-piece Shiro, 0-star 2-piece Samir, Lin using a 0-star 4-piece Shiro, and Claudia using a 0-star 2-piece Shiro, 0-star 2-piece Samir. And in a minute and 30 seconds, they reached 60 million. And here is a 15-second rotation. The next team consisted of Icarus, Claudia, and Tsubasa, with Icarus using a 0-star 2-piece Shiro, 0-star 2-piece Samir, Claudia using a 0-star 4-piece Shiro, and Tsubasa using a 0-star 2-piece Shiro, 0-star 2-piece Samir. And in a minute and 30 seconds, they reached 41 million. And here is a 15-second rotation. And now for the disclaimer / notice section. And the first thing that I want to mention is the testing environment, which has a lot of input lag. so you might be able to pull out better numbers than we did. For example, Kazzer is able to pull out 140 million using the Lin Comp on live servers, whereas on the test server, he was only able to pull out 125 million. Also, we use Lyra and Samir for DPS matrices, but Crow is better than Lyra as long as you have over an 85% crit rate. But you can't use it on the Cactus, so you should be able to get better numbers than we did. You also could consider replacing Lyra with Fenrir matrices, especially if you have high crit rate. Otherwise, you could just use Shiro. Number 2, matrices. Icarus matrices are very strong. The 2-piece provides raw DPS when you have 2 different types / element weapons in your team, so it's very easy to trigger this effect on any team. The 4-piece is also very simple but more specific because it requires you dealing frost damage. This means that the 2-piece is universal, but the 4-piece is only useful in rainbow teams with a frost weapon in frost team. These matrices are a must if you want to maximize your rainbow / frost team DPS with a very powerful background matrice. And after testing, these are how the matrices stack up. Number 3, Mono Frost is greater than Lin. In the DPS calculations, you'll see that Lin beats Mono Frost, but this is only on the Cactus. Mono Frost provides more survivability and versatility, especially against moving targets, so when you're doing harder content like the Bygone or Origin of War, you're going to want to go Mono Frost. In number 4, Fiona should be here soon, to where she's going to increase the power of all the teams, including Frost. And most likely, the ideal star will be 3-star, which has the execute. So, you may not want to use all of your resources on Icarus if it prevents you from getting Fiona. And you might want to consider that when rolling for the matrices as well, to where Icarus should be the strongest for Frost, but Fiona matrices should be stronger than Lin's, and also universal for all the teams. But with all of that, Icarus is a must pick for your Frost team due to the large amount of DPS and speed he brings to the team when paired with Saki. There is also value in Icarus for tank and support team, since in a tank team, Icarus can taunt enemies and gain a shield, plus gain resist stats with his sub skill, and in a support team, Icarus can wipe out a percentage of the enemy's HP when above a certain threshold. While Icarus functions the same at A0 as he does at A6, his advancements are certainly worth getting if you want to become the highest damaging Frost DPS out there. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and consider subscribing. I do tons of coverage on Tower of Fantasy, like character showcases, new patches, and more. But other than that, talk with you guys later.